I think it's really interesting, the idea of cloud computing and how it's impacted by 5G. It seems like for 5G to really happen, there needs to be like, cloud native architecture. But maybe the challenge is that cloud native architecture is still in the forefront. It's really in the vanguard. It's not really quite, the standard yet. So what are your thoughts about cloud computing and how it's impacted by 5G technology?
Yeah, sure. It's an interesting question. The communication service providers traditionally had been on bare metal deployments.
Mhm,
Then they evolved to deploy. Even today, are deploying in a virtual environment,
mhm,
container-based solution. The next generation of standalone architecture technology, the request is for that to be deployed in a cloud-native environment.
uh-huh.
So Oracle Communications and our competitors are developing network functions for the 5G core that are cloud native
Mhm.
in their design.
Okay.
Um, that means microservice based um, architectures that are scalable and are ready for deployment into that cloud native architecture of the operators for the 5G standalone architecture. So the request from these early adopters is to have cloud native architecture at the get go.
Mhm.
And so I think as you see the standalone architecture get deployed, you'll see networks being comprised of network functions designed in a cloud native microservice based design.
And I guess one of the impacts of that is simply that the cloud world is going to move a lot faster because 5G is going to make it enable to move much faster. Is there an additional what are the it's an additional impact there of 5G on cloud?
Sure, yeah. So the 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 interesting benefits of cloud architecture on 5G. It's really going to be it's almost a reverse. The cloud native architecture is going to enable things in the 5G network that were more of a challenge in the earlier generation networks.
Mhm.
Um, 5G is going to be based on these cloud native architectures. There's some fundamentals of those architecture designs that are going to bring benefit. For example, the microservice architecture is going to enable developers of those functions to deploy in a more agile manner. So
Mhm.
that means a more of a continuous development, continuous integration approach to adding functionality to the networks. Um, those architectures are going to have integrated, built-in automated test. So the operators won't have this long, drawn-out manual test and regression test procedure to deploy new functions.
Interesting.
Um, it's also going to enable a more of a automatic upgrade. So where network upgrades may have taken 6 months or more to take place, you'll see a much more rapid ability to upgrade functionality into the operator's networks.
Mhm.
Um, what's also going to be possible now with the microservices architecture is a more of a self-healing, more self-adaptive network um, behavior, so that as operators need to optimize their resources for a particular region or a particular use case, or a particular customer experience based on that use case, the microservice architecture will be able to provide that in a more agile, more smooth fashion.
Hmm.
So it just leads to more dynamic behavior of the network, an easier deployment, a less expensive operational model. And I think it's going to enable the operators to add more new features and new use cases in a more rapid fashion. That's
Mhm.
what the end customer will see. Behind the scenes, all of that, what I explained happens, but what the
Right.
end customer will see is a more rapid pace of introducing new offerings to the end customer, whether the end customer is a consumer with a device
Mhm.
or an enterprise.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think that'll be the impact of this new architecture.